Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here, and today we're going to be taking control of a horde of post-apocalyptic characters and trying to please the Khan in Ruination. In this game, each player is going to control one of four different factions. You are going to be attacking other players, attacking nomads, trying to control regions of the map, trying to please the Khan, who controls this region of the world, the final aquifer in this region, and so therefore trying to get the most victory points. And you do that through a few different ways. Lots of fighting certainly is a big part of it. You also will hire exiles that are unique characters wandering the wasteland to come work for you and fight for you. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at how this works. I'll show you on the table here. I'll see you on the other side for some final thoughts. There's a lot that I'm going to be glossing over in this overview. I'm going to be skipping over how to set up the game, how to fight nomads, which begin on the table, all of the different kinds of cards in the three main decks over there, and these cards over here, all of the different exiles you can hire to work for you. I'm going to be glossing over a lot of that. What I'm going to be talking about is three things. What a turn looks like, and what the choices you have on a turn, endgame and how you win, and then combat, because that's quite a big part of the game, okay? So, what does a turn look like? It's going to be Yellow's turn. Every player has one of these. This happens to be Yellow's. And they're going to have exiles, which you put somewhere next to your board. They're out here on the table somewhere. In this case, this one right here. And they also will have these cards that you can have up to 3 of. They're special, special abilities and so forth. You have resources up here. You have these blessing tokens that allow you to re-roll dice, things like that. And then some a player aid, basically, for some effects. So, on your turn, you are going to do one of 3 things. You are going to scavenge, you are going to move, or you are going to recruit. And you will pick the top card from one of those decks, and that card is going to give you the ability to do the thing, scavenge, move, or recruit, but also it might move you up on one of those 2 tracks, which represent various things in this world, like the Khan in this world, the leader, how much they favor you, and then this one is basically how well known you are, things like that, okay? I don't remember exactly the wording, but that's basically what they represent. So they might move you up on one or the other one, like that vow card right there moves you up on that one, the ambush one moves you up on either. That's what those mean. And then there's also a piece of writing that lets you do something. So, for instance, the ambush card is a move card. It lets you move. It lets you do the ambush, which means replace one enemy grunt with one of your own. And then it lets you move up on there or there. And you can do that in any order you want to do it, okay? And then once you're done with that, that card is gone. And the next one is still a move. There always will be move cards, but it might have different flags over here on the sides. As you see, that one has none. It has a different ability at the bottom. And so what you get to do is always one of those 3 things with a little flavoring on top of other things that happen with it. So that's a general turn. Now, what do those things mean? Scavenge, move, recruit. Okay, scavenge. When you choose scavenge, you are going to get resources from the table. You can do 1 from each place where you have any characters that you control. So I'll get, this grain, this water, this sort of metal scrap. I would get 2 of these, 1 of that, 1 of that. Or you pick a single location and you get 1 of that thing per unit in there. So for example, here I have 3 units, right? I have that one, mounted one on the horsey, and these 2. So if I did this, I could just pick that location and get 3 of the metal scraps there. All right, move lets you, move. When you move, you get to do it in one of 2 ways. You get to pick a location and move out from it to as many places as you want to that are 1 step away. Or you get to pick a location and move into it from as many locations as you want that are 1 step away. Now this board is actually a lot closer than it looks, a lot of these things. This trench here in the center represents no man's land. It's terrible. Going through there is going to cost you either resource or you have to take someone out who is crossing. They don't survive the cross, okay? But all of these are adjacent to all of the other ones. So from here, for example, if I want to move, I can go to this one, which is adjacent, but that's obvious. But I can also go to that one and that one, here, 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 here. Or this one, or this one, okay? The only ones that are not very easily adjacent are the corners, and then this one in the middle here, which is the Khan's Palace, which is worth quite a bit because there are 2 bastions in there, and those are super juicy point makers, okay? So that's how moving works. And again, you need to remember that when you go through no man's land, you're going to have to take that penalty. You have to deal with that. And then lastly, recruit, which lets you bring new people onto the board. It's very simple. You're going to get 3 points worth of recruiting, and you can recruit a normal little guy. This is like the grunt for a single point. You get to recruit the mounted unit for 2 points, or you get to recruit what they call a brute for 2 points as well, which is this one. This guy is 1 strength, normal, basic, little guy. The brute with the hexagon is 2 strength. And then the mounted unit, as listed here, is 1 strength, but also 1 kill. 1 extra kill above and beyond. So that's pretty good when you want to wear down your opponent. Just, even if you lose the fight, you want to take, knock him down a peg or 2. So that's how that works, okay? So end of game, let's talk about that. You understand now those things up there. Well, the end of the game is going to be triggered when somebody does one of various things. That means somebody gets to here on the victory point track. Somebody gets to that spot there that matches it, or that one over there, or you empty out a deck, which has that symbol as well, okay? There we go. Basically when one of those things happens, direct your attention over here. We are going to go down this list right here that you have a token to mark. So first thing, 2 points for every bastion that everybody controls. After that, we finish out the round. After that, we play a final round, so you get to go 1 more time each again. And then we do final scoring, which is 2 points for bastion, 1 for every 4 resources, 1 for every 2 blessings. And then the level 3 cards are going to score you victory points. Level 3 cards are those right over here, and they have some sort of scoring. They all do. So, they'll say, get 2 victory points for every exile that you have at the end of the game. Things like that. How do you get those? And how do you get these exiles? When you do scavenge, you may grab one of these and pay for it. The cost is right there, and you grab it, add it to your board. When you do recruit, once you're done with that, then you can hire one of the exiles. Same thing, you bring them over, you put them in front of you. Again, I'm skipping a lot. They have special abilities, and I will talk about what they do in combat. But as soon as you gather one, you recruit it somewhere onto the map where you already have figures, and they're part of that group. If they ever do get wiped out, then you are going to lose them entirely. They just go away. All the other ones just go back into your pool, okay? So there you go. Now let's go ahead and talk about combat. This game is very combat heavy, and you're going to want to be getting into combat, okay? Because you score many victory points that way, and you score victory points as the attacker. This is a game that also rewards you attacking an army that is not just a single solitary guy out there trying to survive. That's going to net you fewer points if you are able to win. You probably will, but it's a smaller reward, okay? So let me explain how that works. It obviously would come as part of a move. And let's say that this group moves in here. All right, so this fight is going to be between these 2 characters right here, which I'll lay down so you can see them, and these 3 right here, which I will also lay down so you can see them there. There you go. All right, so those and these are not part of it. Obviously, I probably honestly from here would have attacked into here because there's a bastion there. But for the sake of the example, whatever. Let's say we're attacking in there. So I'm going to calculate a couple of things, okay? And I'm going to use this track over here to do it. So I'm going to bring that over to me and put it right there. So this represents 2 things. Strength, number of kills. And we're going to calculate where those begin at the start of the fight. So my strength is, as I showed you over here, okay? And this is also going to be a big part of this because it's this character right there. So my strength for yellow is going to be 1, 2, and this one, it shows me 2 fists right there. So 4 is my strength. My opponents, they have just 2 of the normal guys, so 2 strength. And then kills. Well, I have 1 with the mounted unit. My opponent has none of the, guaranteed kills, let's call it. Then we're going to gather a dice pool. Now, the dice pool is going to be 1 die for each type of unit in there. Different type of unit, okay? So for example, my opponent has two of the same type of character. They're going to be rolling a single die. But if it had, let's say I'm going to switch them out with a grunt, okay? And this is the hexagonal base. Well, not only is that an extra strength, so let's say that's what they've got, but they have two different kinds of units, so they're going to be rolling 2 dice. So there you go. You want to have armies that are mixed types of units, right? For me, I have 3 different types. Exiles count as their own kind. So I'm going to be rolling 3, and then I'm also rolling in every fight, whoever has the most favor from the con is going to be rolling this pink die right here. That's going to be me because I'm higher than the this color player, okay? Now that we figured out our strength, our kills, we got a dice pool, then players are going to simultaneously roll these, and then they are going to use the dice, going back and forth, in order to assign these to their player boards to do various things, or just use them, okay? So, with the attacker going first, by the way. So, here's what I've rolled. I am going to use this one right away. That's going to be my action, and I get 2 strength. So, I move this up 2, and this die goes away. I can remove it. Goes back to my opponent. Obviously, I don't have their board out here. But let's say they utilize these 2 stars, and they give themselves 1 strength, 1 kill with that. Great. And that goes away. It comes back to me. And I can use one of these. Now, one thing you can do is use these blessing tokens to modify this, okay? A single one lets you reroll 1 die, 2 of them let you reroll any number of dice, and 3 let you choose what you want a die to be. Now, where do those dice go? The strength was obvious. This one here, which comes from, again, the con, gives you more blessing, a resource of your choice, or a victory point, straight up, okay? So I would, use this and get 2 more blessing. The stars are going to be used here in these locations. So let me bring this back onto the board a little bit here. In these locations to trigger additional effects. So if I put it there, I'm going to get 1 strength, here another kill, and here I get to move up on one of those 2 tracks up there. And this is 1, 2, or 3 stars respectively. However, I also get whatever's in red on the card that is assigned to that spot. This has a little fist, okay? So if I actually put a star there, I'm getting 1 strength that's printed on the board, and another strength that's on the card. So I would go up 2. But that might not be the card that's there, right? The card that's there might be this one. And if it's that one and I put a die there, then I'm getting 1 strength and 2 blessing. Which means I'll be able to, in most fights, I'll probably be able to modify what my dice end up being. I'll have a lot of management of that, right? It might be instead this one, which is, I get 1 strength and a victory point. So I might be able to just start making victory points in the middle of a fight. Whether I'm winning or losing, I'm making victory points, okay? This one here is 1 kill, like I said, moving up on the tracks, and depending on where this is, of course, that combination of things will be different. Now, this spot right here, which takes a single star, lets you trigger just the card part on one of these. And so therefore, you can do every card twice, okay? I could, spend 2 of these and re-roll, or 1 of them and re-roll something, and if I get a star, I could do it again. If I get a star, and I do that, then I'll be able to get this power here twice, right? I'll get it from going here, I'll get it from going here again. Just one of the cards, the power there. There's also, by the way, dice you're going to get from some of these characters. I think I forgot to roll that one, in fact. But you also get dice from these, the exiles might bring you strength, they might bring you dice, a combination of both. So there you go. Now, once this is all said and done, both players pass, then we figure out what happens, okay? Most strength is going to be the winner. So I am the winner, yellow in this case. When you win, you get an extra kill, okay? And then we're going to resolve a couple of things. So both players, for every blank die, are going to get 1 blessing token. Okay, great. So they had a blank die, or I had a blank die, we're going to get that. Then we are going to give the winner victory points equal to the size of the army that lost. But, that's only if you're the attacker. So, if I'm the attacker, which I was in this case, and I win, I'm going to get 2 victory points for these 2 being right here, so I would move up on this track, okay? If the defender wins, they do not score those victory points. They'll wipe me down, all that stuff, but they do not get those victory points. It's very important. Now, we both will inflict hits on each other, okay? I've got 2 kills. That's both. And you pick your own units to remove in this game, but obviously both will go. And then they inflict 1 on me. So I'll remove, say, this one, okay? I stay there. The defender does not need to retreat. If they had not been wiped out entirely, they would have to retreat, okay? And that's a fight. So as you can see, it's possible that during the fight, you can focus on different things, just making victory points straight up during the fight, whether you win or lose. Perhaps you are very good at moving this tracker up. And whether you win or not, if the opponent had this token up here, even if this one's way down here, I win, and I hit them for 2, but they hit me for 3, so they're wiping me out as well, whether they won or lost, right? You still get those 2 victory points, but, that could happen. So it's very different that way, depending on how you build up this board, especially, and the characters you recruit. So there you go. That gives you an idea of how the game works out once you've got those final scoring bonuses right there. Whoever has the most victory points down here on this track is going to be the winner. And that's a general overview of how to play the game. Let's go ahead and go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of it. So that is the overview for Ruination, which was not brief. I tried to make it as brief as possible, so I'll try to hurry through this part here with my final thoughts to not make this video be too long. So overall, I really like this game. I think it's a great, interesting, engaging, quote-unquote dudes on a map kind of game. With a lot going on, but it handles all of those things very seamlessly. It moves along at a nice clip. Doesn't have a lot of sort of rules overhead. On your turn, you do one pretty simple thing, and then it's the next player's turn. Let's take it from the top, shall we? The theme and the setting. I really like it. It's post-apocalyptic, which I'm a big fan of, but I like that this post-apocalyptic world and setting is in a different place in the world than the usual ones, right? It's always Australia, because of Mad Max, or it's an American post-apocalyptic setting. And this is not that. So it allows you to bring in new characters, a different mythology to the world, all of those things. And it just works for me. The aesthetics is probably my biggest issue here. I think the cardboard player boards are, these are all right. They're a little bit on the thin side. This has a little bit of damage from packaging because, again, it's a little bit on the thin side. The biggest issue was the token punch board. This copy I opened here had a punch board. I don't know if this is every single one out there. I suspect it is. It would be weird for it to be only a few copies. But anyway, the punch board was too big to fit in the box by a couple of millimeters, a little bit. So that means when it got packaged, it was bent in the box to fit in, and the curvature messed up some of the tokens here along this edge. They just they punched themselves out and got bent in the process. So that's problematic. Now, again, yes, you can contact the company, right, and get replacements and all that, but that's a very deflating feeling to open up a new game and go, this is not sized right, correctly. So that's my main issue there. I think the artwork is great, and I love the illustrations, the art style, the whole, that immersion that comes from that, I really like. But, yeah, I do worry about that. And then I also worry maybe if you play this too much, it's possible that the dice will wear off. They're just screen printed on here. Engraved dice would have been above and beyond. That would have been very cool. Replay value is very good. There's a lot of fighting, for sure, and you want to know that going in, okay? This is going to be a fight-heavy game. Thankfully, the fighting is really interesting, and I do like the back and forth of fighting quite a bit. I like that you can turn any fight into, ideally, something interesting for you. Whether you win or lose, you can wipe down your opponent and really grind them down so that the next fight is very easy for you. You can be making victory points while winning or losing that fight. You can be advancing up on different tracks. You can be doing different things in fight. It isn't just like, we're fighting. And so I enjoy that. I was also very pleasantly surprised by how well this game scales. I really like this game at 2. I really like it at 2. And I was very surprised by that. There's not a lot of these kinds of games, armies clashing on a map, which work really well with just 2 players. But in this one, it did. Right, there are hot spots on the table, like the center of the board has that spot where the Khan's aquifer is there. and there's 2 bastions in there already during setup. So you want to try to take that. You want to try to control it. It also gives you wild resources, which is nothing to scoff at. So I thought that was really neat, and it just works very well. The game arc, quick turns. The game does not outstay its welcome. You definitely feel like you are getting better throughout the game as you buy the upgrade cards, as you have different exiles working for you. All of that felt like it gave it a nice progression. And as hopefully was sort of, illustrated by my overview, you can, every turn, you really have basically one of 3 choices. They then, of course, have various secondary effects you need to consider. But you can achieve kind of what you're going for in many different ways. You know, and not just what you're doing, but the order in which you do it is interesting. So the game arc continues to give you interesting new things to do and continues to build to very interesting fights. Like the last game I played of this, near the end, there was it was a 2-player game, the last one I played, and it was this epic fight near the end of the game with 2 big armies sort of clashing against each other. Now, there's an army character, then a mini limit, which is 6 per side in any one of the regions. But still, 5 characters against 4 characters, and all of their effects and all of the dice you're rolling and all of those things makes for a really epic fight. And it's fun. Lastly, ease of play. Like I said, turns are straightforward. I think the rulebook is pretty good. I had a couple of small questions, but you can find your answers in the rulebook pretty much, and the straightforward scoring and the straightforward game ending sort of situation, the little breakdown that's on the table here, I like that too. I think it makes the resolution of the game feel right. It doesn't peter out at the end where you go, oh, okay, it's kind of done, I guess, but we're going to finish this out, play it out. And it also doesn't give you any crazy surprises at the end of the game. The ending feels right. I think a lot of games of this style can sometimes feel like the end gets fumbled a little bit, the wrap-up, that bow. This one, I like the way that bow comes together a lot. So there you go. I really enjoy this, like I said. Now, that comes, of course, with a few reasons already. I like the theme. I like the art style. I like the style of game. I'm not the biggest fan of dudes clashing on a map ever. And so if I'm going to play one of those games, I want it to have the rules try to be as succinct as possible while instilling as much interesting tactics and strategy as possible. And this one does all those things. So for me, this is a really fun game. I would definitely recommend, if you enjoy this style of game, that you give it a try. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. This gets an 8.5 from me. That means it's a seal of excellence, and I think it's excellent. It's one I was looking forward to. It was on my, top 10 games I was looking forward to, last year. And it did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the final product here, except, again, for a couple of production issues that I wish were a little bit stronger. So there you go, everybody. That's it for me. My name is Zee Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.